Okay guys, we're here with Jake. He's one of our shooters. Jake, I'm going to start right off with you. This is our take 2 because the first video messed up, so we're going to start over again. Hopefully we get everything excited. We had a pretty good conversation going there. How old are you, partner?
I'm 18 years old.
Okay, and how long have you been shooting?
I think it's been about 10 months.
10 months precision, right?
Yes, with something like this, yeah.
So, when did you think you started deer hunting and doing all that, just regular hunting stuff?
I mean, as soon as I got my first gun, I was like 6 with 22 walking around shooting birds. I
got you. So you've pretty much grown around, around. You've been on a farm all your life, right?
Yes, sir.
Been involved with farming and.
Yeah, I've shot quite a bit. Like not precision, but just shotguns in general. I've shot quite a bit.
I got you. And what was it like getting into the long range game versus what you was doing? Is it quite a bit different?
No, well, yes, and there's a lot more. It's basically the sky's the limit. Like you look and you see people doing stuff, and then you can basically do whatever you want. I mean, there's so much stuff. Your own custom rifle, whatever you want.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit what you got set in front of you there.
So this is mine, precision rifle. It's a Remington 700 Action. It's the Remington 700 PCR, I believe. I got Bugara muzzle brake, an Atlas bipod, SH4 Gen2 on top of it, Arken.
That's the 6-24, right?
Yes, sir.
With the Pro Pack, right?
With the Pro Pack throw lever and double level. I have a dual trigger, single stage.
So, knowing what you know about that gun right now, in this condition it is right now, is there anything you'd change about it?
Yeah.
What would you change?
The only thing I would even think about changing is the trigger.
Okay.
And that's mainly because it doesn't work right now.
I think it's outlived its livelihood, right? Yeah.
I think it's older than I am.
Yeah.
But I would definitely the different trigger, and if it worked, I probably wouldn't change it.
I got you.
Other than that, I wouldn't change a single thing to it.
I got you. So correct me if I'm wrong, but you've won a little money with that gun, right?
Yeah. I've won. I think I've won a little under $800 with it. I've won 3 matches with this gun, all on steel, shooting steel off a bench.
I got you. So, have you ever shot F class? Do you know what that is? Okay.
No.
Well, some guys will know and some guys won't, but it's just a higher degree of precision, more than PRS, right? And it's more off the bench or prone or something like that. But what our matches are kind of like, I would say, like a PRS F class combination, because we don't do a lot of shooting and moving. We rely more so on the precision of the shooter and the precision of the rifle, rather than leaning on posts and stuff like that. Which there's nothing wrong with that. It's just a different style of shooting. So with that being said, do you think you'd do pretty good with that at a PRS match? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, there's a lot of people, there's quite a few people shooting 6 Creedmoors out there. I mean, if they can do it with theirs, I know this rifle very well. I don't know why I would do bad.
Right, so you shot your first PRS match yesterday, right?
Centerfire PRS match, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
So, do you think that, knowing what you know now, that you could do what you need to do with that rifle there in a PRS match?
On a PRS match, I'd barricade start like the Arken rail. That's about the only thing I'd probably want before I went there. But I think I could probably get some stuff done with this gun at a match like that.
Sweet. Now, you've shot the 6 GT now.
Yes, sir.
You've shot the 6 XC.
Yeah.
And you shot the 6 Creedmoor. Now, obviously, the XC and the GT you don't have a lot of time behind, but you do have time behind the Creedmoor, and the limited amount of time that you have behind those 3 cartridges. Which one do you like?
Personally, I like the 6 XC, and that's taking nothing away from either the GT or the Creedmoor. I think the XC and the GT are neck and neck. I think it's just your preference behind it. I think they're both stupid good rounds, super predictable, great groups with them. I said, just the way I like how it feels, the XC, after shooting a lot yesterday. The Creedmoor is a great round too. It's just not nearly as predictable as the GT or the XC.
I got you. So, and you base that experience, you base that comment you just said off of knowledge, right?
Yes, we went and shot a mile when I took this rifle, and Mike brought his GTs down, and there were 5 of us, and we shot at a mile. It was a 27 mile
27 mile an hour crosswind.
Crosswinds, yeah, pretty windy day. And the GT, he shot it. What the dope said on stray lock, we adjusted and walked it right to it. It was literally easy as shooting a mile as shooting 100 yards with the GT, honestly. With this rifle, I mean, on my 20th round I hit at a mile, and it was not predictable. It was pretty predictable, but I would put a couple next to each other and adjust, and then it'd be. But once we kind of got it figured out, I couldn't put any consecutively back to back with this rifle. With the GT, I put my first 3 rounds consecutively down and hit.
Consecutive in 27 mile an hour crosswinds at a mile.
Yep, with the GT, I hit him. My first shot I ever shot at a mile hit, my second shot hit, and my third shot hit.
And I believe there was 5 guys, 5 different guys, done it with the same rifle, with the same load.
Yep.
Consecutively.
Consecutively, yeah, back to back to back to back.
And there's a lot of naysayers out there that say that you can't hit a mile consecutively, but we're proving it time and time again that you can. This should be, I think, this would be my 4th video, or 3rd or 4th video. We've actually shot 4 videos. I haven't released the last one, but we have several videos, and I say that there's 3 of us shooting a mile with a 6 GT, and here recently the 6 XC. Yeah. So let me ask you this: do you think you could build a gun the night before match, rough sight it in, take it to a PRS match, and not place last?
Well, before yesterday, I'd have probably said yes just because it's me, but no, I would probably thought no.
Okay, we're going to change out guns, and we're going to show you something here. We're going to pause. Okay, guys, we're back again. Now we have a build that we literally built. So this is Sunday. We built this rifle Friday night.
Basically Saturday morning.
Basically Saturday morning, because we got done loading for it at 2:30 Saturday morning. We got done loading for it. So right there you got is what's that target?
This is, we put the gun together, like we said, Saturday or Friday night. We woke up at 6 a.m. Saturday morning to go to a PRS match, and actually from right here, we shot it at 100 yards, and it hit right here, and we
adjusted the scope, right?
Adjusted the scope from there. We didn't shoot again, and we went to a PRS match an hour later, and we got it done with it.
Yeah, and didn't place last.
Didn't place last. I didn't do my best. And in all honesty, I mean, it wasn't the gun at all. It was me. I was shooting this rifle yesterday, or at the PRS match, and it did what it needed to do. I just couldn't get it done on my end. And
that was your very first PRS match, right?
Yep.
And with a scope you'd never used?
Nope, never ever even looked through one of these before.
With an action you're unfamiliar with, that's a Howell action.
Very unfamiliar with.
And a single stage trigger that's a bit heavier than what he's running. Of course, it's a Timony trigger in there. It's about 13 ounces. We got a Panther Hollow 6XC Excalibur barrel on it with a Hellfire on the end of it. A dual chamber head Hellfire. And we got the Panther Pro Track on the bottom there. And it's sitting in a MPA chassis with a weight kit on the back. So during that whole match yesterday, when you were shooting that gun, did it feel good to you?
Felt great. Felt really good. I thought it was going to be pretty hard to have something feel better than the GT, honestly. And I got behind this thing, and I mean, we shot a little over 100 rounds probably yesterday, 100 rounds-ish. And that's all I have through the XC. But the way those 100 rounds convinced me enough to not get a GT and go with the XC route.
I get you.
That's just for me personally. I think they're both great rounds, though.
So you came off, that was the Arken SH4 Gen2.
Yep.
Okay, and that's the Helos.
Yep.
And that's the BTR.
Yep.
And that's the Gen2 Helos right there in front of you. So those turrets, they pull up and down, right?
Yes, they're locking. This one's stiff, and then they close.
Okay. Now it's got the APR reticle with the cross in the center of it, right? So regardless of the reticle, because I know you don't really like that cross, right?
Yeah, it's not even the crossness. It's just the thickness, I'd say.
Thickness,
it's mainly the reticle, just the cross. I like the dots in the middle, but also the thickness, and I kind of like busy scopes.
I got you.
I like it.
So that's less busy than your Arken?
Yeah. And,
okay.
I have like I said, I have a lot behind that. Not a lot behind this, but besides, like regarding the reticle, the scope itself, a very nice scope.
So that scope's about $600.
Yep.
And that one over there is $479 with the Pro Pack.
Yep.
Do you see the money difference between the glass?
Yes, very much so. Just a second ago before we started, I looked at 100 yards at that paper with the SH4 Gen 2. I could see that there was letters on there. I couldn't see what they were. I got this, focused it in, and I could actually read it. Not great, but I could actually read it, rather than not be able to read it at all.
Right.
Whenever I take the SH4 Gen 2 to about right around that 1,000, that's when I start really noticing some differences whenever you get to quality glass. We got to 988 yesterday.
988?
Yep, 988 with this scope yesterday, and it was clear as day. I mean,
I got you.
It was really nice.
Now, we're not sitting here saying the Arken's not a good scope. We're just sitting here saying that the Arken is... There's the reason there's scopes are more money is because typically when they're more money, you're upgrading something. With this one, obviously, it was a glass. Now the turrets on those are lockable. They pull up, pull down. They have 0 stops. So that we had that one zeroed, right? So see how many dialable we got in that. Pull that up and take it all the way up.
That's a 0.
And count it.
That's 25. That's 50. That's 75. Whatever 75 plus 18 and 1 click is.
That's 93.
93 and a quarter.
93 and a quarter dialable MOA in that scope with a 40 MOA rail. 93 MOA, guys, in case I was standing away from the camera there, in case you couldn't hear that. That's in a $600 scope. So just to give you an idea, we shoot the mile with the XC at 86. 86 is a dialable dope on the XC with that long a barrel. So there's a lot there. You could get to a mile easily. Dial it to a mile.
Very easily.
Yeah. So that in itself that's pretty cool, especially for XLR guys like me, and Jake's becoming an XLR guy too. So that's pretty interesting. So the exciting thing to me was, it's hard for me to wrap my mind around what we done. We got the barrel in at 7 o'clock Friday night.
Yeah, I got here about 8:30. You called me and said you got home from the mile and came over here. We talked about it, and then we said, well, I guess we better do it. And 12 o'clock rolled around at night. We got it all put together. We had some issues with the trigger. I don't know even what the actual issue is. It was too light.
Yeah, we had to set it too light.
Yep, but we got that figured out. We put it together, and it was great.
And then we fired 1 round.
Yeah, and it wasn't even me. I mean, yeah, you woke up and you fired it before I got here, and you told me you fired 1 round and adjusted what you thought, and we went out there, and my very first shot, I want to say it was like 380 something, maybe my first shot at the match was, and I hit.
Yeah.
Shot
You had some hits at 988 too, didn't you?
Yeah, no, I had actually the best I did, like the best stage I did was the farther targets. And I smacked the farthest one twice and the second farthest twice, and I did good out there with that.
That's awesome. That is awesome. So where I'm going with this is that we took a gun, we put it together the night before the match, and this is a Howidge style build. We screwed the barrel on it. We got a rough 0. We didn't even have a hand load. We had a hand load that I developed for another gun. And we used the same hand load for that gun right there. We shot it at the match. We brought it home. We checked 0, and what was wrong with the 0 when we got home? Because the barrel had broke in, right?
Yeah, we did notice throughout the day it picked up a little bit of speed, but this, like we said earlier, these guns are so predictable. It wasn't nothing. All we had to do was adjust for it, and it was easy. But we got home, and we were both curious about it, and we shot it, and it was 2 1/4 inches low.
Right, and it was low left, right?
Yeah, it was low left, 2 1/4 low, and I think we went in MOA over.
Yeah, so we moved a minute from it was shooting left, we moved a minute to the right. So the barrel shot in.
Yep.
What kind of groups did we get?
Well, we got home and we shot with the Howa. I'd say we probably shot 1/4 inch, very, very easily 1/4 inch, 5-round groups at 100 yards, very easily.
Yeah, it was a ragged hole.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
So we compared it to the Remington. Okay,
Yeah.
the Remington shot almost the same, but I think the Howa shot better.
Yeah, I have to agree. I never thought I would, but I do. The Remington 700, I love it, but the Howa, I'd say you're splitting hairs though at that point. They were both 1/4 inch 5-round groups. It was just, I think it was more of the shooter behind the bag.
Oh, so you're saying you're a better shooter?
Well, I don't have to say that. We know that.
If you haven't noticed it already, Jake's a little full of himself a little bit, but
Yeah.
that's what makes it a lot of fun. You gotta have confidence.
I'll back it up. But no, honestly, I told Mike whenever he first got the Howas in, I was like, I just didn't like them. I hadn't shot one. I just felt the action. I just didn't like it. And well, I spoke too soon, honestly. Yesterday after shooting it, I was really thinking about it over the Remington 700 for being cheaper as well. They're cheaper as well.
Yeah.
Right? For being cheaper as well. The only thing I would change about this whole setup right here, and it's just me, it's just the bolt knob. That's it. And you can do that. Like
Yeah.
you put this one on. and
That's
you
just
can
a clamshell style bolt knob that we threw on there, and it's something that I found that was quick and dirty. And it works.
Yeah,
I mean, I like it. It's just a matter of that, he has a different
that's
preference.
Yeah,
Yep.
at that point.
Yep.
Besides that, though, it's smooth.
It got smoother through the shoot, didn't it?
Yeah, whenever we brought it home, actually, because yesterday I just sat there and ran it. I didn't shoot anything. I just sat there and ran it. Well, once we put it back together, and it was nice. I mean, it was smooth. And we brought it back yesterday after the shoot, and I actually had time to sit down and run it. And I'd bet this against that 700 action all day. This thing is.
It just smoothed up. It just broke into itself.
Yeah.
Another really cool thing I noticed yesterday, and it was raining on us, right?
Yeah.
It rained pretty good. I mean, it rained so much that we had our gun sitting in the gravel, and there was white specks from
Yeah, it's still there.
From the raindrops hitting the gravel and splashing the lime back up on the guns.
Yeah,
so, anyways, it rained. That whole gun was wet.
Soaking wet.
We never put a scope cover on it. We never put anything on it, right? It was sitting just like that out in the rain, wasn't it?
Yep. Action.
Did those lenses ever fog on you?
No.
They never fogged.
No, I never actually, with the scope itself and clarity and fogginess like that, I never had a single issue. It was actually surprised me whenever we went to go shoot. It started to really pick up, and we had to shoot out around 900 yards again at one of the stages, and it really started picking up rain. And it surprised me how well I could see out there with rain and all, and it did its job very well.
So let me ask you this: did you see those guys cleaning their lenses yesterday?
Yes, they were
because their scopes were fogging?
They had like.
Was there? Nothing bad about anything, but there was a couple tangents there.
Yeah. There was a tangent in our group, and I've never heard of them. And Mike was telling me about how they're supposed to be really nice and they're really expensive, And he was over there with the cloth cleaning the scope.
Because his lenses fogged.
Yep. And we were just sitting there, and he had scope covers on, scope covers off. He took them off and put them back on, seeing if that helped. And I was sitting there, he said, just like this.
We didn't have anything on there.
The bolt open, the whole shoot.
The bolt was open with the flag in it.
Yep, stayed open just like this, the whole shoot on the ground, getting ready.
Now, guys, don't take it like we're picking on other scopes. All we're doing is pointing out facts. It is a fact that there was guys there with foggy scopes, and we were running a $600 scope in the same conditions. Now, I'm not saying those scopes aren't built better, because they probably guarantee they are.
Yeah.
But my point is you don't have to have a $4,000 scope to be competitive. Now then, if you're shooting F-class or something like that, and you want the repeatability, I'm not telling you that that's an F-class scope sitting in front of him. I'm telling you that for PRS, that scope will work. I'm also telling you that you can build a gun in one night with a rough zero and go shoot and not place last. Which, for last place, whatever. I think you were there was 40 shooters, 37.
I think there was 48 shooters.
48 shooters.
And I was 37 or 38. I don't remember.
Yeah, yep. So, guys, that's all we're trying to say here is that there's there's guys that are gear chasers. I'm guilty of gear chasing myself, and I'm guilty of swapping cartridges back and forth before matches, chasing different cartridges. But I think we've landed on a couple pretty good cartridges that we're liking pretty good, that we're figuring out. I mean, we've done a lot of homework on the GT. We're getting there on the sexy. And that's the 6XC. We call it the sexy.
It's basically there. I mean, honestly, it can. I mean, it's already. There's a lot of people, if they shot this rifle, they want to change their signals. They'd be happy with what it grouped and everything.
I think they'd be happy with the whole setup, just exactly the way it is.
Saying. Like this right here would be a perfect setup.
Yeah, even for our matches.
Oh yeah, no, most definitely. This gun right here would, like, anything that we do, this gun could get done. No problem.
Yeah.
Like no problem at all.
Now this is just the first initial impressions with the that's the Helos, right? That's what it says on
the Helos BTR Gen2.
Helos BTR Gen2. This is our first Helos we've had. The first one we mounted it fresh out of the box Friday. We shot the match with it Saturday. And it performed, it done what it's supposed to do. Now on long term, we're gonna keep that scope and we're gonna use it and see the long-term effects of using it a lot. But right now, guys, I'm highly impressed with that scope. I think Jake's impressed with it.
Yeah, I mean, like I said,
I'm not trying to put words in your mouth. You tell me what you think.
Like I told you yesterday, for me personally, I probably wouldn't buy the scope, but it's not because of anything wrong with the scope. I just don't like the reticle, like I said earlier.
So if the scope had a different reticle in it,
yeah, most definitely.
So have you seen the mill ones?
No, I have not.
The mill ones, they have the center dot.
Yeah.
That makes that thicker crosshair not as big a deal.
And that was an issue we were having yesterday. Is we were shooting 1/4-inch groups with this, but the groups were so small you couldn't even see them because of the reticle thickness.
Yep.
And so, like, that's just a personal preference at that point. But like scope-wise, besides the reticle, 100% great scope.
I got you. It's a great scope to slap plates around with.
Yeah. Oh yeah, most definitely. I think really, honestly, the only thing the Arken has over this scope is looks. Honestly, I think the Arken's one of the coolest looking scopes in my opinion. The big turrets, they just look great.
Now we're gonna do a shout out here because I know what your other favorite scope is. What's that?
Okay, I got my top three. My top three favorite is the Arken Gen 2, SH4 Gen 2, the tracked scope, but the Valdata Spider is.
You like the Valdata Spider?
The Valdata Spider, if I wasn't a broke high school kid, would be on every gun I ever owned, including my Red Ryder BB gun.
Now, we've not reviewed the Valdata Spider, guys, but Jake has looked through it quite a lot. Actually, every time he goes up with me and we're doing something, he pulls out the Spider and looks at it. I've only had it a week, and I think Jake's handled it more than I have.
Yeah, probably.
So, tell me a little bit what you think about the Valdata Spider.
So, when I seen it, you had it on a rifle.
I had it on that.
This rifle.
That rifle.
Actually, you did.
With the GT barrel.
Yeah, action, yeah. Whenever I first seen it, I was like, what is this? I was like, it's got the, how big's the tube? It's a smaller tube.
It's a 35 millimeter tube.
Yeah, so it's smaller. It's way down here, and it was real low profile. And I was like, I didn't know how to feel about it. And then I really got up close to it and looked at it, and I was like, whoa. Now we're talking. That's pretty good stuff. And I looked through it, eighth inch adjustment, quarter. The turrets look awesome on it. The whole scope itself looks pretty wicked. I thought the track probably was my favorite, but I think that Valdata Spider it's right there with it. I think
it's just sickness, isn't it?
I think after I shoot the Spider, it'll probably be my favorite. And the way it sits low to the gun, it's small, but the turrets on it are awesome looking.
They're great big fat turrets.
They're red over here on the windage. I think it's really cool. The only thing I think is going to be getting used to or just like weird is your zoom is not in the front, it's not in the back, it's in the front.
Yeah.
But that's just uniqueness. That's cool.
Well, so it's not the zoom, it's the parallax.
Parallax, yeah.
Parallax in the front and all on the side.
Yep.
So, and guys, I didn't tell Jake to say any of this stuff. No. Jake he's his own guy, if you haven't noticed, and he's quite confident, and he'll tell you kind of what he thinks even if you don't want to know. So some guys don't like that, but me, I think that's awesome, because I think you grow up, if anybody's going to be proud of you, it's you.
Yeah, make it yourself.
You got to be self-motivated. You got to be self-driven, and that's what it takes to make it in anything, really. And shooting sports, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
You've got to be self-motivated. You've got to be proud of what you're doing, right? And you've got to know when it's time to be humble and ask questions.
Yeah, no, that was a huge thing yesterday. Like if we would have just sat there, we could have sat there and been quiet and just watched, and we'd probably learn some stuff. But we were asking questions, and honestly, a lot of guys came up to us and gave us like pointers and tips,
and didn't have to.
Yeah, like these, and actually, two of the dudes that were in our group actually scored. Actually, three of them scored very well. One of them actually won it yesterday, and they were there. They took time out of their, instead of writing down their dope, they took time and helped us through every stage and showed us everything. Let us finish shooting if we were out of time and everything. Like really good people, honestly. Really good people.
I had a blast. I enjoyed it. The scoring system to me is a little bit different because I think it's like golf. You can, if you got a buddy there, you can.
Yeah.
I'm not leaving it at that. So it is what it is on that deal. I understand it is. You know, you can't have ROs at every station.
Yeah, you kind of have to do it that way.
You kind of have to do it that way. So, but anyways, it was a great time. I had a lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
I had a great amount of fun, and we're going to do it again. But it's just a matter of when we're going to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can't see us doing that every week. Or
no, I actually told you on the truck ride back, I could see myself doing it. Now, mind you, I don't know how long like the season lasts, like when it starts and when it ends, or how many months. But I could see myself definitely doing it again for sure. Now, how often and how I'm not going every week. I'm not going every month. Maybe every other month, every 3 months. I don't know, honestly. Especially right now with how much ammo is and such.
So that leads me to another question. The whole reason we done this is because why? You couldn't find ammo for your 6 Creedmoor.
No. Yeah, I actually called Mike Thursday. Or he actually called me. I was supposed to call him. I totally forgot to. But he called me Thursday. And before, I had no issue finding 6 Creedmoor ammo. It was, I mean, pretty, for what was going on, it's pretty prevalent everywhere I looked. And then I think a lot of people have seen that and bought some 6 Creedmoors and started buying the ammo because they couldn't find any 6.5, so they switched to 6. Well, long story short, he called me. I said, Mike, I ain't going to be able to shoot Saturday. I don't have no ammo unless I bring my 22. And he said, Friday this is supposed to come in and we'll put it together. So, yeah.
And that's still, and some guys will be like, man, why'd you do that or whatever. But here's another thing. We didn't break in the barrel.
No.
We took it, we put it together, we cleaned it, we shot it one time. I moved it over because it was 6 in the morning. I have neighbors. Shot it one time. I measured where it needed to be, put a rough estimation of 0 on there. We took it to match, put 100 rounds through it.
Yep.
Left it in the rain, done all that crap, come back to the house, then shot another, 15, 20 rounds through it last night. Yep. Still haven't cleaned it. Okay?
Yeah,
but the gun's shooting. The gun is doing what it's supposed to do. So
very well.
Break in and all that stuff. Yeah, there's a big debate about that. I've broke in guns and I've shot guns like this, and then they've ended up. We done your whole break-in process on your gun.
Yeah, we did a break-in on my gun. It turned out great though. That gun, for what it was, whenever I first got it, I'd be putting it up against these all day. Honestly, like that gun though. It shot. I mean, you've seen it. Like you said, if you knew that gun was going to do that, you would have ordered 5 of them for yourself. It was just that turned out to be a really great rifle.
Yeah.
Really good buy.
Absolutely. Well, Jake, man, I appreciate you spending your time with us.
Yes, sir.
And I appreciate you taking the time to interview. And I'm thank you for shooting the gun yesterday in the match.
Anytime.
And, it was kind of an experiment on our part to see if we could do that and get it done. I mean, I know a lot of real serious shooters probably wouldn't have done what we did. But we did it out of necessity because we couldn't find rounds, really, honestly.
We had nothing to lose.
We had nothing to lose and everything to gain. So we gained a lot of knowledge by doing what we did yesterday. We know it can be done, and we know that we have the skill set to do what we did and be competitive with an unproven weapon with a rough 0. Definitely. And we were hitting yards. We was making hits at 988 yards.
Yeah, and then anywhere in between.
And
like I said, honestly, it wasn't the gun. The gun did nothing wrong yesterday. It was anything I missed was most definitely me. It was most definitely me, for sure.
Well, man, again, I appreciate you coming out here. Appreciate your time. This is Mike from Panther Hollow Sporting Optics. This is Jake. This is one of our shooters. If you guys get interested in wanting to know a little bit more about what we do, you can email me at pantherhollow@mail.com. As you can see over here, we're putting together Panther Hollow, the building. It's a skeletal figure right now.
Metal will be on it this week.
Metal will be in this week, and we're going to get her all metaled up, and we're going to have a website before too long. But we're going to have a bunch of shooters here we can pull knowledge from, and a bunch of young guys like Jake. I say a bunch. There's what, 3 of you, 4 of you? Cameron, there's that. Cameron makes 4.
Cameron's basically an old man.
Cameron's gonna watch this. Cameron's an old man. He's an old man in a young man's body.
Yep. Like that. Or the other way around.
He's Papa Joe. All right, guys. Well, until the next video, you guys be careful and stay safe, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.